Right then, boys and girls, I'm going to be doing my inlaying, putting some red engine enamel actually into here, just to make it stand out. I know everybody else has done it and things like that. Like hotels, you've got to make sure that it's nice and clean first. So you want to get some panel wipe or some degreasing agent, anything like that. Preferably something what does evaporate and then it don't leave any residue. And then obviously you've got to give it a right good scrub to make sure you get any road grime, dirt, mucking actual side casing itself. Just get it right good clean, best you can. And then once you've got as much as you possibly can out of it, want a nice clean rag and try and soak up as much as you can. I would recommend that you'd leave it for maybe 10 or 15 minutes after you've done this and you've wiped it with a rag and got as much as you can out, just give it a chance for any residue what's left over just to evaporate. Like I say, a bit of elbow grease, that's all what's needed. Just make sure it's nice and clean. Once you've got it as zappy as you possibly can, that you've got as much grit and muck and road grime out it as, like I say, just go around every individual letter and try and get in all nooks and crannies. You can see all the crap what's coming off here. You'll be surprised how much actually gets stuck in it. I should have done it when I bought it brand new, and then I wanted to add a few 100 miles worth of shite built up in it, but there you go. Like I said, get a right good buff, and then what I'd do is just leave it for 10 or 15 minutes before you start painting. I'm just using, which you've seen before, it's red engine enamel, eBay special, up to 250 degrees, so we should be alright. It should be long lasting. I know people have used nail polish and things like that, but each to their own, I suppose. I'm wanting to try and get it so once I've done it once I don't have to start messing about and doing it again. Right, next step then, guys. Now then, what you've got to do is get yourself comfortable, because it's a 2-minute job. And what you're doing is you're inlaying the paint into the actual letterings. Now, like I said before, don't worry about getting little bits of paint on outside, but you want to go up to the lip anyway, all the way around. Make sure you're getting all little corners. Like I say, this is only a first light coat, so you don't have to panic if you don't get everything covered, but just try and get in all areas and nooks and crannies, right up to the edge. Now this paint actually says that it's good to dry in about half an hour. But seeing that I'm doing this on a cool February in England, it's going to take a bit longer. But we're not in a rush. Don't think that you're going to be able to do this in an hour and it's all going to be done and everything, because once you've put a couple of coats on and you've let it dry, you want to be leaving it at least 24 hours, I should imagine, just to make sure that it is all set before you even start thinking of rubbing it down, because that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to have some fine wet and dry paper, and then probably start with like an 800 grit or something like that. Then after that we'll probably go up to 1200, and then maybe up to even a 2000, just so you can get all paint off. But main thing what you wanted to do is polish it back so you've got your bright side casings again with no scratches or anything like that. Anyway, I'll shut up talking and just get on with it. Right, so that's got as much paint off as I really like to. That's using 1200. Now I'm just going to use some P2000 and just go over that. And you're not wanting to get paint off, you're trying to get rid of these minor scratches that you put in. And all I think this 2000 grit's going to do is just actually polish your casing back up. 5 minutes in every direction, because you will have been having to go into straight lines to get the edges, up and down, side to side, cross to cross, just to try and get residual paint off the outer edge. Some of it will come off on inner side, but unless you've got a microscope and you want to be funny about it, nobody's going to notice. And what you'll find is you start polishing the scratches out that you've put in, what you'll find, if I can show you better, all these fine lines and marks what you're seeing in the actual casing, right, it's only highlighted because of the aluminium what you're actually taking off the casing. So all the aluminium particles get stuck in the little scratches and imperfections. You can see those what have come from factory. Now you can just polish them out if you want, just use some Maguire's polish best you can. If it don't bother you that much, you can just leave them, but it's like hotels, once you start cleaning, I can't stop, you've just got to do it. Probably took me half an hour to get to this stage, and then next stage after this is you need to right good dry off and get some polish, some of Maguire's metal polish, or you could use Autosol, which is a renowned making in England, well in Britain. Whether it's worldwide available I can't tell you, but Autosol, it's another metal polish. It's only fine, and all the thing it's going to do is just get rid of all these little marks. But like I said, these are coming from factory. It's the people who's actually buffed them up in the first place who's, suppose, my bike might have been a Friday tea time bike. For example, you can see that gouge there. That's only highlighted because I've been polishing and cleaning all the rest of the bike up. So just keep going at it. If it's something that you're not going to want to do, or you haven't got time to do it all, just do a section at a time. Or you can just get away with just wet and drying where you've actually marked the casings, and then just put some polish on it to come back perfect. To come back like you've never seen it before. Right then lads, oh lasses, I've just about run out of elbow grease now, but it's probably took me an hour to get all residual paint off and then rub it down, polish it, and it's come up like that, which I'm really happy with. These I found a couple of gouges, but they're from factory them, and like I say, I've run out of elbow grease. And if you don't know what elbow grease is, they haven't used it enough. It's a good product, it's cheap, very cheap elbow grease. You can get it for, well, next to nothing. But there you go. I think just turned out alright, to be fair. You can, that's just way, basically 10 minutes of polishing and then rubbing off. Just keep on changing your cloths, because you can see the amount of muck what comes off it once you start polishing it with that Maguire's. It really goes in, well, not in deep, but it gets all crap out of actual casings. So I'll leave you at that then. Thanks for watching. See you there.